little guy here that looks like a tongue is the spleen. And then right here you've got the thyroid gland, this little pouch here, and the thymus is this little egg-shaped scrambled egg thing above the heart. And then we have the posterior vena cava, which is this white thing right here, and that little tiny white thing on top of it is the phrenic nerve, and it goes all the way up above the heart to the anterior vena cava. And then going over to the arm, we've got the axillary, which is the blue part right here, and it's supposed to extend like the pink one into the brachial, but it doesn't, so you can't see it on ours. And here you have the external jugular, and then this one next to it is the internal jugular, and that's next to the common carotid. That's it. That's all I have.
This right here is the lower venous system, and this vein running down here is the external iliac vein. Beside the external iliac vein is the iliolumbar vein. As the iliac vein runs down, you have the deep femoral vein. And the femoral vein, which runs into the popliteal vein, which goes behind the knee. And then above the knee is the saphenous vein.
This is the upper arterial, presented by Miss Porky Pig. We're going to have the common carotid, axillary, brachial, bronchocephalic, pulmonary trunk, ductus arteriosus. Under the pulmonary trunk, we're going to have the aorta. On the heart, the coronary artery.
Hey, this is Hannibal, and we're doing the lower arterial system, which is the red branches. So this branch over here going into the kidneys is the renal artery, and going all the way down is the umbilical artery. Coming off to the side, going horizontal, is the iliolumbar artery, which coming below it, vertical, is the external iliac artery, which branches into the femoral, which is a thicker branch, and right next to it, the thinner branch, is the deep femoral. Now the femoral branch goes behind the knee and it becomes the popliteal artery, and going above the knee is the saphenous vein. The saphenous artery.
This is the respiratory system. Starting at the top here is the nostrils, which are called the external nares. Then down here we start at the larynx, which goes down through into the trachea. Now the trachea will split into two primary bronchi that go right into the lungs. Now these primary bronchi also split into smaller secondary bronchi right into the lobes of the lung. Now the lobes of the lung, starting at the top, on each side is we have the right cranial, the right middle, and then the right caudal lobe. Now on the left side we have the left cranial, the left middle, and the left caudal lobe. In the middle, between the bottom of the right caudal and the left caudal, we have the right accessory lobe, which is right above the diaphragm, which is a membrane that is like right on top of the liver right here. Now the parietal pleura is the membrane that is from the rib that you can see when try and pull it off a little bit here. And the umbilical vein is this vein that comes right here out of the liver that was cut when everyone opened their pig, which is connected right here to the umbilical cord.
This is the first part of the digestive shown on jelly. So we have the esophagus, which is this top cord that's running above here, the thinner one. On top of the esophagus, we have the vagus nerve. That's kind of like the flossy looking thread on that. Esophagus runs all the way down and goes into the stomach. So this is the stomach. The top of the stomach is the fundus. Then we have the body of the stomach. And then this like bulby part at the end of the stomach is the pylorus. After the pylorus, we have the first part of the small intestine, which is the duodenum, or duodenum, or however you say that. Then we have the second part of the small intestine, the jejunum. The last part of the small intestine is the ileum. The ileum you'll find that connected to the cecum, which is this like little tail-like extension from the large intestine. The large intestine has the spiral colon, it's a spiral. Behind that, you can see the transverse colon right here. It's a small part, and then most of it, the rest of it is the descending colon, which then goes down into the rectum and the anus. On the small intestine, you can see this pinkish stuff, that's the mesentery.
This is the whole digestive system, including the mouth. This rib part right here is considered the soft plate, the hard palate. Then behind the hard palate, you have the soft palate. Then the flap thing is considered the epiglottis. Behind the epiglottis, there's a hole, which is the oral pharynx. The tongue, underneath the tongue, is the frenulum. Then we go down. You have the esophagus, the liver, the gallbladder, which is this pea-sized bubble right here. Then connecting the gallbladder to the stomach, I guess, is the common bowel duct. Into the small intestine. So from the gallbladder to the small intestine, you have the common bowel duct. Then here's the stomach. The top of the stomach is the fundus. Then the bottom of the stomach is the body. This fat part right here is the pylorus. Behind the pylorus, you have the small intestine, which is considered the duodenum. Then you have the jejunum, which is the middle of the stomach. The middle of the intestine, sorry. Then you have the ileum, which is connected to the cecum of the large intestine, also known as the spiral colon. At the end of the spiral colon, you have the transverse colon, which is right here. Then down the transverse colon is the descendant colon, then the rectus, then the anus, which you can't see.
This is the urinary system, and kidney, it has a renal, which is connected with kidney, and from the kidney connected with the urinary bladder is urethra, and bottom is a downside of the urethra is the urethra, which is connected with male penis, and that's all.
This is the female reproductive system. These bean-shaped are the ovaries. There's one on each side. Connecting from the body of the uterus is the horn of the uterus, or the fallopian tubes. This is the bladder connecting to the urethra, which is right under it. This bumpy shape under the body of the uterus is the cervix. Right under the cervix is the vagina. This junction connecting the urethra and the vagina is the urogenital sinus. And this is the genital papilla.
This is a male reproductive system. Right here is the testes. Over top is the epididymis. Below is the gubernaculum. This is the penis. This whole sac, which includes what I just showed you, is the scrotum. The spermatic cord is located on top of the epididymis. And the ductus deferens is right over here.
Yeah, Lily doll.
Woo! Stem cell vesicles there?
I don't have it.
It's not in my book. I was looking for it.
You can see here the ductus deferens, often referred to as the vas deferens. Here's the one on the right, and here's one on the left over here. Where they come together, you can see this bulbous glandular structure there. Those are your seminal vesicles that contribute a large part of the volume of semen.